No. No, ma'am. No. No. I'm trying to climb over. Do y'all see what I see? She's being a little jerk. No. You leave him alone. Leave him alone. She has spotted a couple of little munchkins. Oh, that's what she's worried about. Her baby's in here. I thought she was coming after these little goats. Okay. I want you to be sweet to these little babies because they're just exploring. Sweet girl, you don't know who you're messing with. Those things that she could not provide. He asked for any medical records. Any medical records. Any records of visits to the emergency room or even a doctor's visit. Any kinds of x-rays. Oh my goodness, my love, I'm telling a story. Baby. Okay. What's happened is she can't find Newton. Yeah, y'all know that, right? She can't find Newton, and it worries her. When I was growing up, and my dad made me and Daniel, that's my brother, Uncle Dan, do chores. As most kids would, we would moan and groan and hee-haw around, and we would do whatever we could, man. We would do whatever we could to get out of them. It wasn't until Dad explained something to us that made our lives a whole lot easier. He told us, whenever you do a chore, and you have to do it together, why don't you challenge each other? Why don't you challenge yourselves or challenge each other? And so what we begin to do is say, okay, and we would set the challenge. Who could do it the nicest, who could do it the fastest, who could do it, whatever. And so that made doing that chore a whole lot easier. If it was a job you had to do by yourself, sometimes I'd say, you know what? Instead of working out today, instead of going to the gym today, I'm going to do this chore and I'm going to make sure that I use certain muscle groups more than others while doing it. I know that sounds kind of foolish to some of y'all, but it actually ended up making my life a whole lot easier. Well, today I have 4 stalls that I have to clean out. I mean, they are nasty. It's been raining a lot, as you can see, and we've been leaving the horses in overnight to allow the cows to come in so that the horses and cows don't fight for space. Okay, long story short, the horses have made quite the mess in these stalls. So today I'm going to challenge LE. I'm going to choose 2 stalls. I guess I'll choose these 2 over here since they seem to be probably the worst. And I'm going to leave these 2 over here to LE. And I'm going to challenge him. And I'm going to try to teach him that same life lesson that my dad taught me. Now, the hard part is trying to go get Ellie up. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. And I know. So let's go try to wake Ellie up and get him out here to help his dad. Or, I'm sorry, to compete against his dad in a farm chore. All right, so being as Ellie is taking his own sweet time coming out, I'm going to go ahead and start my challenge. So it won't be about it will not be a race. Instead, we're just going to base this challenge on quality. So I'm going to use the tractor. This is my cheating tool. I'm going to use a tractor and I'm going to just shovel everything, all of this stuff straight out of here into the bucket and then drive it out and dump it into the pasture where I'll make a kind of a mulch pile and burn it later. This may take a while, but I believe that using the tractor bucket will be a whole lot easier than using that wheelbarrow, which is what we normally do. I'll tell you what, using these pine shavings is a whole lot easier to clean up than using hay. There's also some other advantages to using pine shavings. Now, things like ticks, and red bugs, mites, those the guys can't make a home as easily in pine shavings as what they can in hay. Now, hay would be a whole lot cheaper, but man, you put down some hay and allow the animals to bed up in it. Next thing you know, you're getting bites all over you. You're getting bites all over your animals. So many parasites can make their home in that hay. And so we try to actually empty the hay out this time of year and replace it with pine shavings. Now, if you can find them, I know they cost more money, but cedar shavings are even better than pine shavings. For some reason, and you women who know about a cedar chest, you know the power of cedar in warding off all kinds of little insects. Yeah, that's why women have a cedar chest, because there's something about cedar that can repel a lot of the things that want to live in this kind of stuff. Pine shavings right here. You might say, Lester, what are you going to do that for? I'll show you. I'm going to slowly back up. Kind of spread them along the ground here. And the cool thing about these pine shavings is that they will naturally begin to decompose like hay and other things will. So they call this mucking stalls. Mucking, M-U-C-K. And this is hard to believe that there's actually people who have contacted us volunteering to come over and help us muck the stalls. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that really sweet? I mean, seriously, people volunteer their time to come over and help us muck stalls. They know what a chore this is. When we first applied to get a 501c, which is a nonprofit status, we had to list like a mission statement and explain what a part of our mission was going to be. This looks really nasty. Let me video something else. And so what we chose to go with was that we were going to educate the public on the rescue, the forever homing, all that there is to do with animals. And we got the 501c approved, no problem. But now we have to live up to that. What we have to do now, we have an obligation to our 501c. And to keep that license or to keep that status, we have to do what we set out to do. So our plan was to have folks come over. We allowed retirement communities to come out. No, ma'am. No. No. I'm trying to climb over. Do y'all see what I see? She's being a little jerk. No, you leave them alone. Leave them alone. She has spotted a couple of little munchkins. Oh, that's what she's worried about. Her baby's in here. I thought she was coming after these little goats. Okay. I want you to be sweet to these little babies because they're just exploring. Sweet girl, you don't know who you're messing with. All right, all is good. So a part of our 501c was to educate the community on things with, animal related. So what we allowed for a while were different groups to come out. We allowed retirement communities out. We had schools come out. Of course, individuals came all the time. People wanted to bring their girlfriend or boyfriend it was the neatest thing ever. But let me tell you what happened. One summer, a couple of years ago, lady calls. She's local. She's lived right down the road here, and said that her sons were in the FFA and they wanted to come out and get some FFA hours. Something the school required them to do over the summer months. And so I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I told her, I says, I spend a lot of time outdoors on Saturdays, so come early. And sure enough, 8 o'clock, they were here. The two boys and I, we worked. They helped me do several things around the farm. And they spent 2 hours here. And whenever they were done, I signed their papers and off they went. And, I was doing what I had set out to do, to entertain, educate, teach, This is hard to talk about because guess what? I would say about a month, maybe a month and a half later, we get an email that came to the sanctuary, and it was drafted by what appeared to be an attorney. And he was asking for our liability insurance information because while that family was out, look out, Newton, while that family was out, supposedly, and I'm going to say supposedly, the letter didn't say this, supposedly the mom The mom, guys, not one of the boys who was working, the mom had got her toe stepped on by a donkey, or so she claimed. And at first it wasn't a big deal, which is why she never told us anything. But through the course of the week, it began to swell up and hurt, and man, it got so bad that she couldn't drive, she couldn't walk. Now she can't even work. Yeah, that's what it said. And so, needless to say, they were going to file against our insurance for the for the pain that she'd endured and the negligence that we blah blah blah. You know where this is going, right? Well, we're like, wait a minute. She never told us a thing while she was here. And so we had pictures and selfies that we had taken before they left, and man, she never said a thing about her toe being hurt. But our attorney, who we had to hire using our own money, began to do a little digging, and he began to do some requesting of information. And one of those things that she could not provide, he asked for any medical records. Any medical records. Any records of visits to the emergency room, or even a doctor's visit. Any kinds of x-rays. Oh my goodness, my love, I'm telling a story. Baby? Okay. What's happened is she can't find Newton. Yeah, y'all know that, right? She can't find Newton, and it worries her. Baby, Newton took off. I saw him run down the lane, okay? You're with me. Anyway, she could not provide any of those records, none. And so it was very easy for the attorneys to get this all dismissed, because there was no way any judge was going to take on that, which was, man, if that was not the most frivolous lawsuit, but man, maybe not. You probably have heard worse, more frivolous things than that. There's Newton right over there, baby. He's fine. Yeah, so since that day, we have pretty much made our farm off limits to the public, but we still fulfill our mission by making videos. We can still educate the public on farming and the how-tos and different things that we do with the rescue and the sanctuary. We can still fulfill all of our requirements to keep the 501c through our videos. So, I don't even know where that came from. Oh yeah, I was telling y'all that we used to have folks volunteer to do this for us. Well, they still volunteer. We just have to tell them no. And I usually try to explain in short terms why we can't have people come out. And that's hurtful, man. That hurts. People like that lady hurt everybody. Think about that for a minute. How many people could get a true blessing coming out and hanging out and visiting the animals? You know, when the old folks came, and these were people from a retirement community, guys, and some of them were in wheelchairs, and I swear to you, it was the neatest experience watching some of these old people sit there and love on the goats, bottle feed them, love on the baby donkeys, and I saw tears streaming down their faces. Yes, I saw tears streaming down their faces, because in all of their years of life on this beautiful earth, they had never had a chance to hold a baby goat, to bottle feed a baby goat, to pet a donkey. And that's probably the same as a lot of you guys who are watching this video. You're probably thinking, dang, I've seen farm animals my whole life. I love farm animals, but I've never held a duck. I've never had a goat jump up on my leg, bite my shorts. And I am so sorry. Listen, it almost brings me to tears. I can feel the emotions welling inside of me, because I think that everyone needs a chance to experience things like this. But guys, we cannot afford to risk losing it all, because we would lose it all, because we don't have that kind of insurance. People who charge an admission to go to their petting zoos, they take some of that admissions and they pay a huge chunk of that money to cover some kind of insurance. I don't know what you'd even call it, just a liability insurance. And that allows them to, if someone does file a claim against them, well, their insurance covers that. We don't have that. We don't charge a fee. You know, we're not a petting zoo. We're a real farm who would love to share stories, or I like to say pay blessings forward. There's a nest up here somewhere. Yeah, that's their nest. Y'all see that? I love to pay blessings forward. And I'm sorry that I can't do that. You cannot actually get a hands-on experience here because there's people that take advantage of that. And people like us. I don't even know why I put that story out there. Most of y'all have heard it already. So now we can still fulfill our 501c requirements through our videos. We can still educate the public and all of those things that we have listed in our mission statement. The things that helped us qualify for the 501c. But we can't have people come out. Man, and if we do, whew, oh, there have been a couple of people who have come out. We've let the principals come out. You remember that video from last summer? And I felt so embarrassed making my principal, making my boss, who I've worked with for 25 years, have to sit at the dining room table and fill out and sign paper after paper after paper. Yeah, there's all kinds of releases and all kinds of things our attorney was able to provide that, you know, that could make us less likely to be held liable. But guys, there is so much paperwork. And besides all of that, who needs to go through all of that? I know a lot of folks say, Lester, I would do it. I'd sign any paper you let me sign. I would sign anything. I'll sign it. It's just scary, guys. It's scary to find yourself being caught up in litigation. It's scary to find yourself being caught up in things that you don't. You know, we have too much going on in our daily lives, trying to raise a family, trying to run a farm, trying to maintain our jobs. And no one has the time or the money to find yourself tied up in litigation. You know, Fidel, for those couple of weeks that he worked over here with us, did a lot of neat jobs for us. He helped us with the roof on the big barn. He helped us with the roof on the little barn. But I think maybe the biggest job that he did that helps us the most is the day that he come out and he drilled a hole or somehow chiseled a hole through this concrete. I have a squeegee that I'll use. I'll come by here in a couple of minutes with a squeegee and squeegee everything out. Make it nice and clean. And once it's outside of the barn, I can just rake it up into a pile and burn it. All right, my friends, I have gotten both of my stalls cleaned out or got them mucked. And I am ready for the inspection. I'm gonna let them dry really good first before we put fresh pine shavings down. Now, of course, as far as LE and how he's doing, well, that'll have to be a separate video because obviously it's 11 o'clock and he is still not got out of bed.